I don't feel sorry for these federal workers, you know what I mean? Because, for one, you have a lot of the federal workers who use their position to deny people, um, their just due. Let me say that because, especially with the EEOC, you have a lot of these corporations out here who blatantly discriminate, and it is the job of the EEOC, to handle complaints of discrimination. And you will send them a complaint, and they'll use it to basically deny your complaint. Especially when you being um, gang stalked at the job. You coming on to the job, and people, what I'm saying, is talking about things that they heard 20 years ago. I actually went to this one job, and it was in Broken Arrow, and they had these two girls. One of them was a she he or whatever they call them or whatever, what I'm saying, but she was the lead. She was cool, what I'm saying, but I think she played a part, what I mean, in stirring up, the discrimination. I was working through Prime Industrial off of 31st and Harvard, what I mean, or whatever, right? And as soon as I came in, what I'm saying, the woman that was uh my coordinator at Prime, she was like, no, because they've been out here saying stuff about me, what I'm saying, which I'll get into later, because y'all know what y'all be doing is wrong, what I mean. But so I got the job. I went out there, what I'm saying, they was using the police to sweat me, because when I would come in town, Broken Arrow is a little town. That's where the company is located at. But when I come into town, the police, they thought they was slick. You know what I'm saying? They pulled over these two white dudes, two of the white dudes that was harassing me at the job. You know what I'm saying? Like when I had a place, what I'm saying, they would come take my place, and then I had to move to another place or whatever. Or they would make it to where I couldn't be in this place today. Cause everybody think I want to holler at their girlfriend or whatever, what I'm saying, at they females or whatever. I really don't, you know what I mean? But anyway, um, so what I'm saying, one night I was coming in town. The Most High is really a blessing, because the Most High, allowed me to lose the job, because, you know, um, the Broken Arrow police was trying to, what I'm saying, get to me, what I'm saying, basically, like trying to, use, you know, um, subversion to, basically make it seem like, well, they ain't discriminating, or, they ain't racially profiling people, what I'm saying. So they pulled this white dude over one night, what I'm saying. He drove like a LeSabre or something like that. I was working at this company called it was off of Popular. I forgot the name of the company. It's been a while. Um, but anyway, what I'm saying, I'll go in there, what I'm saying, and they'll be, I mean, they'd be harassing me, what I'm saying, harassing me, what I mean, to the point to where one time, because, they say I eat ass from the back, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Um, and so, the last day that I was there, you know what I mean, they actually use our own people to get rid of me, because, what I'm saying, like, people be talking too much, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, excuse me. Anyway, so that day I went in, you know what I mean? I went to the bathroom, in the area that I was in, it was just completely empty. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't nobody over there. But when I came back, they had this black dude and they had this black girl. When I come to the table, the black girl bent over on the table with a anus up in the air, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So I got upset, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, why people be so worried about what I choose to do with my life? You know what I'm saying? What does it matter to you what I do with my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got their own life. They can live their life, right? So anyway, which I ain't tripping. So, you know what I'm saying, I got upset, you know what I'm saying, like, I told the people, the two people that was lead over the night, even the manager was sweating me, you know what I'm saying. They would come back, and because, they watch me over YouTube, they silently watch me, and then, when I go to work somewhere, they harass me, you know what I'm saying, you feel me. So anyway, this has been an ongoing thing through the whole city. I'm talking about they got the security targeting me. They got, you know what I'm saying, everybody targeting me. You know what I'm saying, gang stalking me. You feel me? Like, so anyway, I left that night, and the lady from Premier called me. And she was like, well, what happened? What went on? I told her, you know what I'm saying? She's like, well, we'll get you another job. She didn't never call me back for another job. You know what I mean? And even with me going out there trying to put my headphones in and tune them out, they was still loud enough to where I'm talking about they was yelling. You feel me? But that's in the past. I'm just saying I don't really care about the job. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to make no future out of it. You feel me? But so I called the EEOC. You feel me? And this is the Most High's doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't just the only one. You know what I'm saying? I know of several people who I knew of a lady who complained to me about her job, and I was going to help her with a EEOC complaint, you know what I'm saying? But she never came back to me to where I could, you know what I'm saying, help her. You feel me? And then a lot of times, people, they want to, breadcrumb me. You know what I'm saying? And I got stuff I got to do out here too. You know what I'm saying? I need money too, but I ain't asking and begging nobody for nothing. You feel me? Anyway, so I got with the EEOC, and they didn't. I had already just got, you know what I'm saying, from another company that I was working for, where, that again they was harassing me. You know what I'm saying, at the job. I'm talking about to the point I was just a delivery driver. You know what I mean? I know you don't see me looking at the camera because I'm thinking about the things that happened. You feel me? But I was a delivery driver at this company. You know what I'm saying? And the lady, you know what I'm saying, was talking all crazy to me, you know what I'm saying, telling me I was too old to work there. And, she even brought a boyfriend in to try to, intimidate me, you know what I mean? And so, that one they did look out for me, you know what I'm saying? But then when I went to this next job, probably like a year later, you know what I'm saying, I went back to the EEOC again because they was harassing me. Man, I know what harassment look like. I'm old enough to know, you know what I'm saying, man, I'm not, wet behind the ears, like, you know what I mean? I've been doing this, you feel me? So, when people, start to be biased and prejudiced and discriminate, under Title VII, you see what I'm saying? You have a right, you know what I mean, to hold them accountable for that, you know what I mean? And sometimes it ain't necessarily the Caucasian people. Sometimes it's your own people that they use, you see what I'm saying? So I went and did, filed an EEOC complaint on them. You know what I mean? And it didn't go nowhere. I'm talking about they dropped my case like, you know what I'm saying, like white lightning. You feel me? But, like I say, I don't feel sorry for them. You know what I'm saying? Because, when you working in the federal government, you have an obligation to hold the state to its obligation to compliance. You know what I mean? With state laws, with federal laws. You see what I'm saying? And if you're not doing that, then I don't think you need to get paid. You know what I mean? Because it's getting to the point to where these corporations just can do what they want to do. It'd be hard out here for brothers like us. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the things that they getting rid of, affirmative action and things like that, you know what I'm saying? It really hurt. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the things that they, because now there's no accountability. You see what I'm saying? But, you just have to trust in the Most High. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't going to get angry and upset. I'm just going to, use my tools, you know what I mean, to, hold them accountable for what they do. You know what I'm saying? Period. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line, not period, because I don't have a period, but a sentence got a period, but you know what I'm saying? Bottom line, I'm going to hold you to what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? Because if I see it, I'm going to call it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get you. You know what I'm saying? That's why they don't want to hire me now. You know what I mean? A lot of the jobs that I apply for, they know. I know the ropes. You know what I mean? So that's just part of the reason why, they don't want to hire me. You see what I'm saying? Because, they don't want you holding them accountable. They want to be able to, uh, a lot of Europeans don't have a problem with job security. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand some of these brothers out here that sit in their car and they go mad, you know what I mean, because of what's happening, because the wicked is prospering and the poor is, getting poorer. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't about, your credentials or what you went to school for. You mean you go to school 4 years, and get in debt, you know what I mean? And then you can't even use the degree or use the certification that you got, because if you go to the job, you know what I'm saying, Europeans don't want to teach you unless you willing to kiss their ass. You know what I'm saying? And nobody is willing to do that. I put my pants legs on just like you do every day. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to kiss your ass. I'm a man just like you. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather, suffer than to kiss somebody's ass to get somewhere. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is, and I've come to terms with that. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't feel bad for the federal government. If they keep it shut down for 2 years, a year, it'll be good. You don't need to get paid when you sitting up there blatantly watching somebody, do wrong, and you the supervisor over them, and you supposed to keep them in check. But you protecting the corporation. You're not protecting the people. It's our energy that makes the corporation the money. So, like I say, the federal shutdown, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Maybe y'all might get a taste of y'all own medicine and what it feel like to be out here without no job and without no paper and unable to pay your bills, and you will start doing your job. Period. Y'all forsake your obligations, your duty of care. You see what I'm saying? To make sure that everything is being operational. I could go deeper, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Because, a lot of people be, thinking you dumb. You know what I'm saying? I like playing dumb. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shalom. You know what I'm saying? I think the federal, shutdown is good. You know what I mean? Keep them broke, Trump. You know what I'm saying? Maybe then they might do what they supposed to do and start holding these corporations, liable for the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? Because some of us don't got the resources to go pay a lawyer. Some of us don't have, the knowledge and the know-how to do the work our own. You see what I'm saying? So I hope this was helpful. You know what I mean? I'm all for the government shutdown. Yay! You know what I'm saying? Because it might hurt me, but it's going to hurt you too.